I got to confess a little bit. I'm a board member of the Queens Civic Congress Foundation, and I have not read this fairly recently, but from what I remember, thank you, Corey, for bringing that question up. It's not just about funding, it's about overall planning, and I think it mimics quite a few of the points that were brought up by the Citizen Budget Commission in regards to how we should deal with our parks. It's an outrage that the City of New York gives such a small percentage of the overall budget to parks. The money that's generated from concessions out of our parks goes to the general budget, and we get so little back in return. Part of the whole overall view is to try to keep some of that money locally, the money that's generated specifically in Northeast Queens parks, which is probably more valuable than anywhere else in the City of New York. Keep that money here locally, at least a percentage of it, if not all of it. Doing that, we'll be able to go a lot further, as well as looking at ways of improving our parks. Right now, the problem is they get these one-shots. They go out there and they'll build a field and they have no money for maintenance. So the idea is to have this overall plan where our parks are kept at a certain level, that everything is there and it's maintained so that we don't have to spend $200,000 to rebuild a ball field 10 years after it was built. Lots of that goes in, and there's many prongs and many tactics in regards to how to do that. Improve productivity in our parks, and encourage a partnership between the private sector and parks, like we did with the Friends of Fort Totten Parks, which is, again, I created, and I was proud to do that with Joe Bezenti and Warren Schreiber, going out there so we can partnership with the private community and look for ways that we can bring dollars into the park and do a lot more with less. And we should do that. 10 years ago, there was a guy by the name of Dan Donahue who proposed an idea called a flagship status for Northeast Queens parks. It's one giant conservatorship for all our parks that we can keep our dollars here, put our people to work, make our parks to an acceptable level, build more fields, and make it better for all of us. That's the way of the future. That's what the Queens Civic Congress wants to do, and I want to do it for them. How would I deal with this problem and situation? I would do exactly what I did for the last 15 years. 15 years ago, when I was out there with you, looking to deal with Fort Totten, the Parks Department didn't want the property because they had no money to pay for it. I came up with the idea of a KID, Community Improvement District, which was modeled after a BID. Lo and behold, recently, the Parks Department has come up with a Park Improvement District, which allowed people to assess themselves to come up with money to pay for it. It's thinking outside the box. As president of the Bayside Hills Civic Association, using the theory of mitigation, when I forced them to build the Oakland Ravine project, I got dozens of acres of additional parkland and wetland for the community. As chairman of the community board, I prioritized the purchasing of Udale's Cove's acreage so that we can save this in perpetuity. Yes, we have to do a lot more with a lot less. We have to think outside the box and coming up with ways of paying for it. And how do we do that? By partnershiping, by creating park improvement districts, by putting together this tax increment financing, coming together, perhaps creating this monstrous flagship status scenario for all of Northeast Queens parks so that all of the money we generate here stays here so that we can keep this the best place to be with the best parkland in the entire city of New York. I would do exactly what I did for the last 15 years, because everybody knows, everybody who's been there knows that I've been here each and every day fighting for parks, because parks are very important to us, going out there, getting more parkland, and looking for ways to solve our problems and get us more parkland. And I keep on doing it. Thank you. I didn't wake up one morning and say I want to be the councilman. The last 20 years I've been out there working with all of you, people like Warren and Bob and so many other civic leaders, making our communities better. With all due respect to my opponents, I've never seen them anywhere before. Have they addressed an issue? Have they solved the problem? Have they done anything for anyone in this room? I worked hand in hand with just about everybody in this room, making sure we had more police officers in our precinct. I was out there making sure we got our park plan. I was out there making sure that our parks were clean and that graffiti was cleaned up. I was out there making sure that the zoning was done right. It didn't start with Tony Avella. Ask people. It started with a guy by the name of Brixton Doyle, who brought it to my attention, and then it went to the council member. It was people like myself and Henry Euler and Paul DiBenedetto and so many other people in this room that ensure that our communities remain safe. To me, this is not a job opportunity. It's not something that I just came up and just woke up and say, this is what I want to do. It's sort of a fulfillment of an uncompleted job that I need to do, to finish the rezoning in Northeast Queens, to make sure we get more cops in a 111 and a 109, to make sure our community remains the best community in the entire city of New York. If I'm blessed with your vote, and I hope I am, I will do anything and everything I can to make sure that we keep on getting the services that we're entitled to, and I'll work my hardest to do that. Thank you, and God bless you.